Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhakta Sekvaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 17, the Supreme Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. So today we are starting this chapter, text 1. Shri Shukavacha iti ukta saditi rajan subhartra kashyapena vai anvatishtad vratam idam dvadasham aham atantrita. So previous chapter we saw how Kashyap Muni told Aditi that to perform Payavrat ceremony for 12 days and then she'll get the mercy of the Lord. So in this chapter, how Lord agrees to become Aditi's son. So this is how Shukdev Goswami started. Shukdev Goswami said, O king, after Aditi was thus advised by her husband Kashyap Muni, she strictly followed his instructions without laziness and in this way performed the Payavrat ritualistic ceremony. For advancement in anything, especially in spiritual life, one must strictly follow the bona fide instructions of the teacher. Aditi did this. She strictly followed the instructions of her husband and guru. As confirmed in the Vedic injunctions, Yasya Deve Parabhakte. One should have complete faith in the guru who helps the disciple make progress in spiritual life. As soon as the disciple thinks independently, not caring for the instructions of the spiritual master, he is a failure. Aditi very strictly followed the instructions of her husband and spiritual master, and thus she was successful. So this is what Prabhupada is saying. One should strictly follow the instructions of spiritual master. And Prabhupada has given us very simple instructions. Just chant 16 rounds minimum every day, follow the 4 principles, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Once some devotee asked Prabhupada, only by chanting 16 rounds, we can go back home, back to Godhead? Prabhupada said, do you doubt my words? Do you have any doubts on my words? And then that devotee had no doubts afterwards. Chintayante kya buddhya mahapurusham ishwaram prakriyendriya dushashvan manasa buddhi sarathi manaschaika griha buddhya bhagavati akhilatmani vasudeve samadhaya chacharha payovritam. With full undiverted attention, Aditi thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in this way brought under full control her mind and senses, which resembled forceful horses. She concentrated her mind upon the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Thus she performed the ritualistic ceremony known as Payovrata. This is the process of Bhakti Yoga, Anya Vilashita Shunya. So she brought under her full control the mind and the senses. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities of philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. One simply has to concentrate upon the lotus feet of Vasudeva, Krishna. Then the mind and the senses will be controlled and one can engage himself fully in the devotional service of the Lord. The devotee does not need to practice the Hatha Yoga system to control the mind and the senses. His mind and senses are automatically controlled because of the unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. So this is the process of yoga to begin with, controlling of mind and senses. Without that control, one cannot make advancement in any path of yoga. So for devotees, yes, we just engage ourselves in devotional service and slowly, mind and senses come into control. Tasya pradurbhuta Bhagwan Adi Purusha Pitavasas Chaturbahu Shankha Chakra Gadadhara. My dear king, the original supreme personality of Godhead, dressed in yellow garments and bearing a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus in his four hands, then appeared before Aditi. See, Dhruv Maharaj had to perform tapasya for 6 months. Narad Muni, when he was little boy and he went to the Himalayas, he had to perform tapasya for his rest of his life. In the beginning, Lord gave him darshan, but then he said, "You're not going to see me again." But here, look at Mother Aditi. She performed her tapasya fully with concentration, undiverted attention for only 12 days. Of course, it also means she had the mercy of Kashyap, the spiritual master. Dhruv Maharaj also had the mercy of Narad Muni. But here, only in 12 days, she saw the Lord. The Lord appeared before Aditi. Well, Aditi being the wife of Kashyap Muni, she's not an ordinary person, obviously, to begin with. But here in this story, she just performed the tapasya and the chanting and the worshipping of the deity and the austerity and the charity for only 12 days. That's what is mentioned in the previous chapter. And the Lord showed up in front of him, dressed in yellow garments and wearing a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus. Tam netra gocharam vikshya sahasothaya sadharam nanam bhuvikayena dandvat priti vivala. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead became visible to Aditi's eyes, Aditi was so overwhelmed by transcendental bliss that she at once stood up and then fell to the ground like a rod to offer the Lord her respectful obeisances. So she was in complete ecstasy. So thai baddhanjali riditum sita nautse ananda jala kulekshana babhu tushanim pulka kula kritis taddarshanati utsava gatra vepatu. Aditi stood silently with folded hands, unable to offer prayers to the Lord. Because of transcendental bliss, tears filled her eyes and the hairs on her body stood on end. Because she could see the Supreme Personality of God face to face, she felt ecstasy and her body trembled. So she was complete ecstasy. She just stood silently. Pritya shaner gadgadya gira harim tushtav sadevya ditihi kurudva udvikshati sapivativa chakshusha ramapatim yagyapatim jagatpatim. O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigoddess Aditi then began offering her prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a faltering voice and with great love. She appeared as though drinking through her eyes the Supreme Lord, who is the husband of the Goddess of Fortune, the enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, and the Master and the Lord of the entire universe. So drinking through her eyes, because the Lord is so charming to look at, so much of beauty, one can just keep on staring at him and not be satisfied. After observing the Payovrat, Aditi was certain that the Lord had appeared before her as Ramapati, the husband of all good fortune, just to offer her sons all opulences. She had performed the Yajna of Payavrat under the direction of her husband Kashyap, and therefore she thought of the Lord as Yajnapati. She was completely satisfied to see the Master and Lord of the entire universe come before her to fulfill her desires. And that's what the Lord was there for. Shri Aditi Ruvacha Yagyash Yagya Purusha Chutta Tirtha Pada Tirtha Shrava Shravana Mangala Namadheya Apanna Loka Vrajinopa Shamodayadhya Shamnah Kridhish Bhagwannasi Dinanatha. The goddess Aditi said, O master and enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, O infallible and most famous person, whose name when chanted spreads all good fortune, O original supreme personality of Godhead, supreme controller, shelter of all holy places, you are the shelter of all poor, suffering, living entities, and you have appeared to diminish their suffering. Please be kind to us and spread our good fortune. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a master of those who observe vows and austerities, and it is He who bestows benedictions upon them. He is worshipable for the devotee throughout the devotee's life, for he never breaks his promises. That's why he's called Achyuta. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya Pratijani, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. The Lord is addressed here as Achyuta, the infallible, because he takes care of his devotees. Anyone inimical to the devotees is certainly vanquished by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is the source of the Ganges water, and therefore he is addressed here as Tirthapat, indicating that all the holy places are at his lotus feet, or that whatever he touches with his foot becomes a holy place. So he is called Tirthapat. Bhagavad Gita, for example, begins with the words Dharam Kshetre, Kurukshetra. Because the Lord was present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it became a Dharam Kshetra, a place of pilgrimage. Of course, it was Dharam Kshetra even before, because Lord Brahma had performed yajnas over there. And Parshuramji also had some pastime over there. But since Krishna himself was present, and whatever Krishna says, does, that is dharma. So that's also, Kurukshetra is known as Dharamkshetra. Therefore, the Pandavas, who were extremely religious, were assured of victory. Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead displays his pastime, such as Vrindavan or Dwarka, becomes a holy place. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is pleasing to the ear, and it expands good fortune to the audience who hears it chanted. Owing to the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Aditi was fully assured that the troublesome condition created for her by the demons would now be ended. So that's why she's praying, please be kind to us and spread our good fortune. Vishvaya Vishva Bhavana Sthiti Sanyamaya Swaram Grihitu Puru Shakti Gunaya Bhumne Swasthaya Shashwad Upabrahmit Purna Bodha Vyapaditatma Matas Tamase Hare Namaste. My Lord, you are the all-pervading universal form, the fully independent creator, maintainer, and destroyer of this universe. Although you engage your energy in matter, you are always situated in your original form and never fall from that position. For your knowledge is infallible and always suitable for any situation. You are never bewildered by illusion. O my Lord, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. See, this is a common theme everywhere. When somebody wants some benedictions, first they do is they glorify the Lord, and then ask for something. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Siddhanta Balya Chitte na kare alas. Anyone trying to become fully Krishna conscious must know the Lord's glories as far as they are possible to understand. Here Aditi hints at these glories. The universe is nothing but the external potency of the Lord. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Maya tadam idam sarvam. Whatever we see in this universe is but an expansion of the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as the sunshine and heat all over the universe are expansions of the sun. When one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he surpasses the influence of the illusory energy. For the Supreme Lord, being fully wise and being situated in the heart of everyone, especially in the heart of the devotee, gives one intelligence by which one is sure never to fall into illusion. But when he surrenders fully, he gets the mercy of the Lord. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that Devi Higesha Gunamai Mammaya Pratyaya Mame Prapadya. Those who take shelter of me, shelter of my lotus feet, Maya Metam Taranti, they can surpass this Maya of mine. Otherwise, it's not at all possible. Ayu Param Vapur Bhishtam Atulya Lakshmir Dyom Dyobhurasa Sakal Yoga Gunas Trivarga Jnanam Cha Kevalam Ananda Bhavanti Tushta Tatto Nranam Kim O Sapatna Jayadirashi. O unlimited one, if your lordship is satisfied, one can very easily obtain a lifetime, as long as that of Lord Brahma, a body either in the upper, lower, or middle planetary systems, unlimited material opulence, religion, economic development, and satisfaction of the senses, full transcendental knowledge, and the 8 yogic perfections. What to speak of such petty achievements as conquering one's rivals? So, in the end, she basically asked, one can get anything when you are satisfied. With your mercy, one can get anything. So what to speak of demigods destroying or defeating the demons? Shri Shukuvacha Adityavam Stuto Rajan Bhagwan Pushkarekshana Kshetragya Sarva Bhutanam Iti Hovacha Bharata. Shukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, best of the Bharat dynasty, when the lotus-eyed Lord, the super soul of all living entities, was thus worshipped by Aditi, he replied as follows. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Deva Matar Bhavatya Me Vigyatam Chirakangshitam Yata Yat Sapatnair Harita Shrinam Chaya Vitanam Sudhamata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Mother of the demigods, I have already understood your long cherished desires for the welfare of your sons, who have been deprived of all opulences and driven from their residence by their enemies. So the Supreme Lord knows everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, and especially in the hearts of his devotees, is always ready to help devotees in adversity. Since he knows everything, he knows how things are to be adjusted, and he knows and he does the needful to relieve the suffering of his devotee. So all we have to do in every condition, every situation, just approach the Supreme Lord. That's all. Whether we desire something, whether we really express our desires or not, he knows everything. But by approaching him, we are confirming our relationship with him. That's what he wants. Tan vinirjitya samare durmadan asuryash bhavan pratilabdha jay shribhi puttarer ichhasyupasitum. O Devi, O Goddess, I can understand that you want to regain your sons and be together with them to worship me after defeating the enemies in battle and retrieving your abode and opulences. Indra Jyeshtha Svatanyar Hatanam Yudhi Dvidisham Istriyo Rudanti Rasadya Drashtum Ichhasi Dukkita. You want to see the wives of the demons lamenting for the death of their husbands when those demons, the enemies of your sons, are killed in battle by the demigods of whom Indra is the chief. Atmajansu samriddhans tvam pratyahrit yasha shriya naka prashtham adhisthaya kridato drashtum ichhasi. You want your sons to regain their lost reputation and opulence and live again on their heavenly planet as usual. Prayo adhuno te asur yuthnatha aparaniya iti devi me matihi yatte anukuleshwar vipragupta na vikramastatra sukham dadati. O mother of the demigods, in my opinion, almost all the chiefs of the demons are now unconquerable, for they are being protected by Brahmans, whom the Lord, Supreme Lord, always favors. Thus, the use of power against them now will not at all be a source of happiness. When a person is favored by Brahmins and Vaishnavas, no one can defeat him. Even the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not interfere when one is protected by a Brahman. It is said, Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. The Lord's first inclination is to give all benedictions to the cows and the Brahmins. Therefore, if Brahmins favor someone, the Lord does not interfere, nor can anyone interfere with the happiness of such a person. So it's best thing to take shelter of a Brahman or a devotee. Basically, it's a devotee or a Vaishnava. Then even the Lord is bound to give his mercy to that person, because he loves his devotees so much. Athapi upayo mam devi chintya santoshitasya vratacharyayate mamarchanam narhati gantum anyatha shabdhanurupam falhetu kritva. Yet because I have been satisfied by the activities of your vow, O Goddess Aditi, I must find some means to favor you, for worship of me never goes in vain, but certainly gives the desired result according to what one deserves. Mataji, please mute yourself. Inal Mataji. Tvayarchittashchaham apatiguptaye payovrate nanu gunam samidita swanshen putra tvayam upetyata sutam goptasmi mare chattasya dhishtita. You have prayed to me and properly worshipped me by performing the great Payovrat ceremony for the sake of protecting your sons. Because of Kashyap Muni's austerities, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. See, the Lord says, now I have to find a way. We cannot defeat the demons, but still you have performed this Payovrat ceremony, so I have to find a way. So he says, I shall agree to become your son. Upadhav patim bhadre prajapatim akalmasham mam cha bhavyati patya evam rupam avastitam. Always thinking of me as being situated within the body of your husband Kashyap, go worship your husband who has been purified by his austerity. Natat parasma akhyayam prishtyapi kathanchana sarvam sampadyate devi devaguyam susamritam. O lady, even if someone inquires, you should not disclose this fact to anyone. That which is very confidential is successful if kept secret. So we should know that. Shri Shukuvacha etavad uktva bhagwan satravantar dhiyata atiti durlabham labdva harera janmatmani prabhu upadhavat patim bhaktya paryakrit krityavat. Shukdev Goswami said, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of God had disappeared from that very spot. Aditi, having received the extremely valuable benediction that the Lord would appear as her son, considered herself very successful, and with great devotion she approached her husband. Savai samadhi yogena kashyapastadabhutyat parvishtam atmani hareransham yavat. Being situated in a meditational trance, Kashyap Muni, whose vision is never mistaken, could see that a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of God had entered within him. So when the Lord wants to appear, or when he appears, it doesn't appear just like us. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam. So his appearance is all transcendental. So what he did, he could see, Kashyap Muni, he could see a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead had entered within him. So from him, he will enter Aditi's womb. So we can stop here and see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna.